Welcome to the Jake Porter and Friends podcast. I'm your host, Jake Porter, and today I'm joined by my friend Jacob Hornberger. Jacob is the president for the Future Freedom Foundation, was a 2020 presidential candidate where I served as his campaign manager. And we've brought on Jacob today to talk about messaging in the Libertarian Party, what went wrong and how we can correct it. Jacob, how are you?
Hey, doing great, Jake. Good to be here with you, Andrew. The reason people don't know where we stand after 50 years is the standard is mush. It's a conservative libertarian mush.
Couple issues I want to touch upon. Immigration reform. How dangerous do you think that is?
I think it's highly dangerous and it's highly destructive. This is one of the reasons I joined the party, was their principal position on the freedom to cross border. There is no initiation of force when it comes to crossing a border. Every day, countless people cross the border between Virginia and Maryland in both directions. Nobody's initiating force when they're crossing that border. But if they put a border guard there and start stopping cars to check their papers, that person would be initiating force. And it's the same on the international borders. The principle is just the same. We are the only party that stands in favor of open borders, genuine open borders, not this nonsense that Joe Biden is favoring open borders and so forth. That's just pure nonsense. The two parties believe in immigration controls, which, by the way, are a socialist system because they're based on the socialist principle of central planning. That's why you have a crisis. For decades, all my life, I grew up on the border. I spent almost half my life on the border. I've seen this immigration crisis, and I've seen the deaths. This is part of the U.S. government's death machine, killer machine. We can look at the invasions, the occupations, the assassinations, the sanctions, the embargoes, all these death-producing programs. But immigration controls are also a death-producing program. And you've got those immigrants in the back of that tractor trailer. You've got immigrants drowning in the Rio Grande, dying of thirst in the desert in the Southwest. And this is nothing new. This has been going on for 50, 60, 70 years. Because of immigration controls. And there's always been one party that immigrants can point to. They can say there's one party that's standing for us, that's defending our rights, wants to put an end to the death and the suffering. And oh, by the way, the police state too, because there's an immigration police state along the border that consists of highway checkpoints, roving border patrol checkpoints, warrantless searches of cars, ranches, and farms along the border. But there's always been one party that stands out above this. It's sort of like a beacon of light in the immigration darkness, and that's the Libertarian Party. And if we become the third party favoring immigration controls, the light goes out. This party's always stood for open borders, and I'm hoping that it continues to stand for open borders.